my name's Kelly Christie and I'm an expert in lived and experience of mental health. I just wanted to give you a bit of a background, what led me into this role, and I will try and keep this really short and sweet. But 20 years ago I suffered a severe brain injury after a car accident. I died 3 times, I was left in a coma and life support. I was told that I would never work again, I would never retrain, and I'd never be able to hold any new memories. I was a single mum and Megan, she was 5 years old at the time, and I really struggled. I really struggled to put a sequence of events in place, like how to make a cup of tea, you know, fill the kettle, put the kettle on, get a cup, put the tea bag in. I didn't know how to do any of that. So how did I know how to look after my daughter? I had no clue. That child sometimes would come to me at 10 o'clock at night and be like, oh mummy, I've not had my tea yet. Things became really, really tough. I suffered with severe depression, anxiety, which I hadn't really experienced before. I became really isolated, didn't leave the house, got to a point where I thought it was best to take my own life. Very, very grateful for the fact that I survived that. I regretted it as soon as I did it. A lot of people around me didn't know what to say, how, you know, what to do. Nobody had the answers. All my medical team kept telling me, you know, there's no hope for you, Kelly. This is the way it's going to be and you have to deal with it. You need to live with this and understand that this is the way it's going to be. What's the point? Like, I was 24 years old at the time. If I couldn't do anything, what was actually the point? And it just took that one person to sit and listen to me. She listened to what I was struggling with, how I was feeling, you know, what I wanted out of life, and just to have that person there encourage me to do what I wanted to do, to be able to, you know, learn new ways of living. I needed strategies. It didn't work first time, I'll try again. I would never previously said I was quite resilient, but looking back where I'm at now, in the position I'm in now, I absolutely am resilient, and I like to prove people wrong, and that's exactly what I did. I did retrain. I got into nails and trained at the highest level. Within the first year I started working for myself. Second year I opened my first salon. Third year I won with the first award and worked London and Paris Fashion Week for Alexander McQueen and Vivienne Westwood, which was not on my to-do list, but it happened. About 8 years ago I ended up in a bad relationship and I wasn't looking after myself. I was too busy proving people wrong and, you know, things like that. So that's when I started to change my ways, started looking after my own like well-being. I had been surviving. That's all I'd been doing. I had a great career, don't get me wrong, but I was, like I say, I was too busy proving everybody wrong. Like, I can do this. So I started looking after myself and making changes, and that's what led me into this role. You know, I've been through a lot of trauma in the past, a lot of things have happened before the accident, after the accident, and I wanted to be able to share that with people. I wanted to show people that recovery is possible, and I love my job. I've been doing it 6 years now. I'm now a senior project worker and I've had a great career, and the people that I've been able to help just makes everything that I've ever been through worthwhile. You might not be in this field and you might not understand about mental health or how to speak to someone, and I just wanted to give you some sort of tips on things that you don't need the answers when you're speaking to someone. You know, you might realise that someone's maybe just been a bit off lately, you know, there's things going on in their lives, things like that. You know, you might be concerned about things, and I just wanted to share with you that it's okay not to know what to do, but sometimes just being there and listening to a person and giving them that safe space to speak with no judgment. You know, if sometimes people that feel really isolated, they just need that someone to listen to them. You know, sometimes they find it easier speaking to a stranger, a friend, family, it doesn't matter. Just to be able to be there for someone and let them speak. You don't need to have the answers. You don't need to give them like answers to how to fix things. You know, sometimes these things just come naturally to a person where they have to learn. And it's just about trying things, but it's really, really important for you to be looking after yourself while you're doing that. You know, and I think a lot of people find it really hard to speak about suicide, and it's important that we do speak about it, because suicide's everybody's business, and you know, the prevention of that, getting in there before anything happens, is really, really important, so that people understand that they can speak about how they're feeling. Recovery is possible and recovery does happen, and it's just important for everybody to be able to speak about things, and people should approach these situations. You know, don't ever think, oh, they're not quite right, oh, better not say anything though. Don't ever think like that. If you think someone's not right, ask them. Like, just show that you care, you know, and just just be there for the person. Sometimes just listening's all that matters.